NET-142 Network Essentials. Nobody had any terms or concerns. We're working on Chapter 6, even though most of today, pretty much all of today, was lab work. We had a few things. On Thursday, the first half of class will be a speaker. Andy Hitchcock is from Mason City, and he's a NIAC grad, and he is going to talk a little bit about technology and a little bit about his role in the Air Force. And he'll have another gentleman with him, so that'll be interesting to hear. Tech Brew tonight, 5 to 7, Mason City Brewery. This was some work, the Linux machines here. If you want to log into them, this would be the user, this would be the password. Today is Tuesday, week 9. Alright. Alright, so I'm back. So in class what we did, I had a switch 8 set up, connected to a router, just happened to be device 13. And in the router I had DHCP set up. And it's actually the same one we used the other day. We're going to use a different one Thursday and next week, Tuesday. But for today, so this is what we did. We had, this was an address inside the switch. This is an address here at the router. And that should be your default gateway. I had them, they're supposed to put a static server on, so they would have to ask me what range of addresses were available, which ones did I exclude from the DHCP. They were supposed to add a workstation that would just get its address from DHCP. And then they did a nice job, or I think we did, we added some wireless routers. We had some issues with connectivity here. And, we got up here. In fact, we got all the way to here because the devices got an IP address from the DHCP. So we got an IP, but students said, here they are on their phone or whatever, connecting in. They said they couldn't get out all the way up here to the internet. I'm way up here in the right-hand corner if you can't find me. So, I'll troubleshoot that for either Thursday or Tuesday. Okay, then looking over here, we have a multi-layered switch. We're going to have this set up. We're going to do a small business in which they have a multi-layered switch. We're going to use the router a little bit like a firewall, and then we're going to connect in, connects the firewall, and then heads out. This is in a DMZ. So I believe it's the first time we're going to actually use the DMZ for our work. And then we're going to add just like a small business here. We're going to add some switches. Right now I'm planning on the same groups, same 4 groups, and we'll add these switches and we'll put them all on separate networks. So we're going to have to do some, we'll have to look at our IP addressing, and talk about the idea of subnets. And so we might get far enough to start talking about that on Thursday and then add to it next week, Tuesday. So here's a bigger look at the picture. We've got the internet. We talked about accessing the internet, main campus, and eventually, our goal is to be able to put a wireless on here. This got an address DHCP from up here, so we should be able to route out and eventually get all the way out to the internet and back. There's a couple of things going on here. The little router, the wireless router, it would do NAT, and we're doing NAT here, and then we're doing NAT again here. So you could see how I've got to make sure everything works right in order to make sure we're getting out to the internet. I know these devices that we put on the switch didn't have any problem getting out, so I have to look at what our situation was in between there. And so we'll do that. And then here's where we'll have our future small business network here. First step will be set it up with switches, and then eventually we're going to put some access points in here too, and then make some guest accounts and so forth. Alright, and we talked about VPNs. You can get one of these NordVPNs. So for example, you can be on campus with your, let's say you're on campus here and you connect to wireless access point, and then with, I don't know, your phone, and then the campus will let you out into the internet and then back. Now if you want that encrypted, okay, so then your phone, you can have it set up to communicate here to one of their servers. So what happens is it encrypts it, sends it to the server, and then that server sends your encrypted message into the internet wherever you're going. And then let's say this is coming back, and so since the encryption is happening here, here, and then again, you encrypt, you using a secured connection from here to whatever sites. This way you can have reassurance when you connect to a public Wi-Fi. At least your information is encrypted right from your device moving forward. And that would be true no matter what public place you accessed it from. NordVPN, Russia requires them now to relay all the information that comes through. They have to make it available to the Russian government. So they moved, the last article I read, they moved all their Russian servers out. They moved them to like countries that are close, like Turkey, Ukraine, and so forth. I think Ukraine was one place they moved them because it kind of defeats the purpose. Anyway, we're slowly gathering some information on security, talking about security terms. So we data is the key thing we want to secure. Digital data, how it's secured when it's stored, when it's in transit is what most people think of. Most people don't think about when it's being processed, but that's important too. We want to make sure the data is accurate, and we only want the data to be seen by those who are supposed to see the data. It's confidentiality. Your doctor and your nurse and so forth can see your medical records, but not everybody else. And then data availability. We need to have data be available to those who need to see it, and we need to have it accurate. Does that make sense? Yeah. Authentication, who, authorization, what they can do, and auditing or accounting. We keep track of what they do and what they did. That's it for today.